So the Super Bowl now is over. Sadly, the NFL season done. Maybe you're wondering what happens to all the gear from the losing team in the big game. So a global leader in philanthropy, Good 360, they've got an office in Alexandria. That's where they're based out of. They take those unused apparel items and they donate it to places in Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Those donations comprised of items from the teams that didn't win the AFC and NFC championships, as well as the Super Bowl. So joining us tonight is Romaine Seguin. She is the CEO of Good 360. Romaine, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. So how long have you had this partnership with the NFL?
Great question. This is our ninth season, and it keeps growing and growing. And I couldn't be more proud to work with the NFL because of the security, the really compliance piece of it to ensure the non-winners products get into the much needed countries and parts of the world, as you mentioned.
So how much stuff are we actually talking about here?
Thousands of pieces. You know, a lot of people don't understand that leading up to the AFC and NFC championship game, that championship Sunday, that whole week, the NFL has already strategically licensed vendors to make all four teams championship gear. And so there's two teams that they don't get to spread the winning news. So that's where we come in and logistically work with the distribution centers to get all the non-winners gear and logistically get it in the market where the NFL chooses.
So are you telling me that in a time very soon, there's going to be a warehouse in Arlington that is filled with championship t-shirts and hats that say Philadelphia Eagles winners of Super Bowl 57?
It's not going to be exactly Arlington. We are right now accumulating all the product. A lot of it is in Philly, but there was a lot in Arizona too. So right now we're strategically getting it to the best logistical point to move it across the pond.
Okay. How does that work with the NFL? Because obviously they don't, and specifically we were told you're not allowed to share any of the images of this merchandise with us, and we get it. But how does the NFL, how do you guys work together to make sure that images of these items don't get out and that any of this stuff that's shipped overseas doesn't end up coming back to the States? Because I think they'd probably find it a little embarrassing.
Right. We have a big compliance piece to this process that all the nonprofits across the pond in the continents you mentioned is vetted. The country's vetted too. The one key thing here is that we want to make sure we don't go in a country that textiles is one of their main revenue source, because that's the last thing Good 360 and the NFL does is want to take away a revenue source in a particular needed country.
Yeah. Yeah. And now the NFL is just one of a handful of corporate donors that you work with. Tell us about some of the others and what they offer you.
Well, thank you for asking. We turned 40 years old November 1. And you're right, we're based in Old Town Alexandria. And we work with over 400 donors, Amazon, Lowe's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Bombas, Advance Auto Parts, Disney, Nike. Name a retailer or a partner that has products that could have some return issues, could have some supply chain hiccups, some warehousing issues, overcapacity, and they want to repurpose the product, and that's where we come in. There's 1.5 million nonprofits. Not all of them can accept products, and we vet the nonprofits, and we have over 100,000 in our network.
Romaine, let's end on this, and that is, you just said that you've been doing this for 40 years, and I didn't start with the most obvious question, but is there a great need for these items and for clothing to be shipped to the continents and the countries that you work with?
Yes, there definitely is a great need. You know, whether it's a hat to keep the sun out of someone's eyes and the heat off their head, whether it's a shirt to keep them warm at night. And, you know, I had the opportunity to travel a lot of these countries in my previous career. And there's much need out there. And it just makes me so proud to partner with the NFL that they realize the greatest need in some of these continents.
Well, we are very proud to have a nonprofit like yours working right here in our backyard in Old Town Alexandria. Romaine Seguin with Good 360. Thanks so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you. Have a great evening.